So if he was writing about it and he had drawings of it, what happened to this fourth Black Pyramid? Welcome to the Truth Vloggers. My name is Nicola and this channel is basically designed to talk about popular and current theories, but also to hunt down the truth and find out what's really going on. So today we're actually talking about a theory that I had actually never heard of until recently, so I'm not sure if you're watching this if you've heard of it before, but it's about the fourth pyramid on the Giza Plateau and just basically what happened to it. So Frederic Norden, I think I pronounced that right, I'm not very good at pronouncing things, but Frederick was a Danish Navy captain, and he was also a very, I want to say the word famous, but he was like quite a popular explorer back in the good old days. And in the 1700s he traveled to Egypt because he had like a fond fascination of Egypt and he just wanted to explore it a little more. And on his expedition he did a lot of drawings and he also took a lot of detailed notes and published it in this book. So the book is called, I cannot pronounce this, I don't speak French whatsoever, Voyage, I'm going to assume it's pronounced Voyage, Voyage d'Egypte et of Nubie. I don't think that that's right, but I'll put it up on the screen. And that was the name of the book. Fun fact, you can actually go online, I'll leave a link in the description box below, but the book is actually in PDF version online. You don't have to pay, you can have a look at it yourself. It does have some of his illustrations, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. But the only problem is that it is in French. So he wrote it in French and a little bit in Danish. So unless you can read French and you can translate, then it would be of use to you. I'm an English speaker, so it was not of much use to me, but I did flip through the whole thing just to have a little look. Allegedly, I'm saying allegedly because I can't translate it myself because it's in PDF form and it's like a scanned PDF version of his book. You can't like highlight sections and like translate them through a software. It's like written, so you would need to know the language to translate. But basically it's alleged that he wrote about a fourth pyramid on the Giza Plateau. So we know that there are 3 main big pyramids and a few smaller pyramids that were like queen pyramids on the Giza Plateau, but he's talking about a 4th main big pyramid being there. So he said that it was much different from the other 3 because it was a black color and the stone that it was made from was a lot harder to work with. Apparently he didn't know what type of stone it was made from. So the description is in page 120 of his book apparently, and it describes the pyramids, and there is also a map, and he's drawn like he has some drawings and he's done up a map of the pyramids. So this is allegedly a section that's been translated into English, so I'll read it out for you now. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading from a book. So the main pyramids are in the east to southeast of Giza. There are 4 of them. So note, he doesn't say 3, he says that there's 4. The 2 pyramids that are farther north are the largest and are 500 feet tall. The other 2 are much smaller, but they have some peculiarities. My English was not that great, even though I speak English. And then this was his little description of the Black Pyramid. It has no coating and resembles the others. That makes no sense to me, but that's what they said is translated. It has, however, a characteristic that deserves special attention. Its summit ends in a single large stone, which seems to have served as a pedestal. The summit is made of a yellowish stone, It is also located outside of the line of the others, further to the west. I'll film like a second part of the video, but to me that description, I'll draw what it sounds like. It sounds like he's describing like a Mayan pyramid to me. It doesn't sound like a typical like pyramid. Okay, so this is my terrible drawing of pyramids. So this is like the base of the pyramid and it goes up. So he says that the summit, so the summit's always the top of like a mountain or a pyramid, the summit. So he says the summit ends in a single large stone. So it would either have like a single large stone. Stop it. Sorry, my cat's here helping me. Give me that back, please. Ow, hey, no. Stop it. So it ends in a single large stone, this is what I would imagine it looking like. So it could either look like maybe just like a single large stone, but usually the pyramids, their stones were large, but not that large. So I feel like it would be sitting right in the middle, so single large stone. And he says that it seems to have served as a pedestal. So in case you're wondering what a pedestal is, took the liberty of googling it for you. So this is a pedestal, so basically something that holds something else, like little, usually for a statue. So I just thought that was interesting thing to add. So I feel like it didn't look like any of the other pyramids, so that could potentially mean perhaps maybe it was a spaceship. Mainstream historians and Egyptologists refuse to believe his words, and they say he was just getting confused with one of the smaller pyramids that was like a queen pyramid. They say that that's the pyramid that he was getting confused with, but there were different materials used. So the material he was describing does not sound anything like the material that was used to build the Menkaure pyramid. And then in this photo here that I'll show on the screen, I'm obviously gonna edit it in, but this photo here shows that he actually wasn't confused. It's like proof, because you can see that there's 4 larger pyramids and then he's drawn in this smaller pyramids in front. So it just shows that he wasn't confused. He couldn't have been confused with those smaller pyramids if he drew them in. Makes no sense. So like I said, the book is online, so feel free to click the PDF and have a little flip through. It does have some of his drawings in there, but I have a feeling it doesn't have all of them. The book actually doesn't contain any of his drawings of pyramids. So that just sort of like makes you wonder why. Like, why did they choose to exclude his sketches of the pyramids? It literally has all of his other sketches in there, but they didn't include those sketches of the pyramids in the PDF version online. However, like, Google does bring them up, so it does make it hard to confirm that those sketches are his sketches and that they're not some random ones that someone's done up later to try and like create this whole thing. So it is hard to get evidence that he did really do those drawings. So putting aside that we can't really confirm that he actually did those drawings, and putting aside that I can't prove that those translations are legit, let's just pretend like they are. So what has happened to the pyramid now? Where is it? So obviously we don't have the answer, otherwise we would know where the pyramid is, but I'll just go through some common theories and some that I think could be legit. So one of them is it buried under sand? I feel like that's a no, because if it's a very large pyramid, it would have to be like a very large sand hill, be buried under sand. So I feel like that's a definite no, that one. We can rule that out. I don't think that it's buried under sand. Another common theory is people think that it was pulled apart to build Cairo. I think that that's false as well, only because if it was made out of such like hard stone to work with, how did they pull it apart? Also, there is, I think he was an Arabic king or prince or something like that, but someone has actually tried to demolish one of the pyramids before I'll insert a photo. That's why this pyramid actually has a big gash in the side, because they had begun to pull it apart, but they gave up because it was too hard of a task. So why would someone, I just feel like they wouldn't have pulled it apart if they already, you know, I don't think that they used it to build Cairo because it would have been too hard of a task to pull it apart and then to work with the stone to build other things, but then also there'd be black stones throughout Cairo as well. So I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't think that it's really realistic, you know. If they gave up pulling apart a smaller pyramid, you know, how are they going to go pulling apart a big black one? Some people say it could have been destroyed by like a big cataclysm, or it could have just been destroyed. I guess that's a possibility. It could have been destroyed. I feel like there'd be evidence of that though, that there would have been a big like explosion in the area, and there would be evidence on the ground of that. Obviously there's a lot of sand in Egypt, so the base of this old pyramid, if it was destroyed, could be covered with sand. You never know until they actually like go and have a good look, but there's so much stuff still buried in Egypt. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing to think how much that they haven't excavated and how much stuff that they're not even trying to excavate. It just blows my mind as an aspiring archaeologist why people would not want to be excavating some of these sites. Like, let's get in there and let's look for the truth. But putting that aside, another far-fetched theory is it could have been a spaceship. So obviously if you've ever watched like Stargate, I think it was the very first Stargate movie, I think that it had a spaceship in the shape of a pyramid. So could be, you know, like who knows. I feel like still that there would have been like markings on the ground from where it had been sitting. Again, sand could have been covered it. We're not going to really know until someone goes and really explores that area, but I'll show you in a minute. There are a few suspicious things when you're looking on Google Maps, the satellite version, like Google Earth. There's a few like suspicious things on the Giza Plateau. I'll show you in a sec. I'm not going to explain it here because then you have to listen to a million things. So there are a few suspicious looking things, and we'll also like look for the potential spot of where it would be. But I think out of all of them, me being someone that believes in aliens and that our ancient ancestors were visited and heavily influenced by aliens, I think that that could be a very high possibility that it could have been a spaceship. Don't know where it is now, what has happened to it from 1700 to now. Maybe it left, who knows, I don't know. I feel like there would have been like stories about a big spaceship blasting off though, you know, because there were people living around there at that time. I don't know. Just don't know. It's very interesting though. So coming to the final thoughts of this theory, I think there's just not enough evidence to support that it could be true, unfortunately. I think that maybe it's something that's been cooked up by someone, unless we can get someone to get their hands on the actual book and prove to us that he did do those pyramid sketches. That would be something that would change my mind a little bit. And then also if someone could get their hands on the book and actually translate it word for word without changing things, like someone that's fluent in English and French, that would be really interesting as well, because I feel like until someone does that, we just don't know. It could have just been this random theory that someone's cooked up and just like thrown onto the internet. But yeah, it's a very interesting one though. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe because it would mean a lot to me. I mean, I love you too, subscribers, as you are. If it's just us on this journey, then that's good enough for me. But also subscribe because me and my partner are actually going on a trip to Egypt to explore, which will be fun. So that's happening in September. So we're gonna have a little look for like similar to what Brian Forrester does, just have a good look at evidence of like ancient cataclysm, ancient technology and all of that sort of stuff. And we're gonna go inside one of the pyramids as well, and I'm gonna pay to film too, so that would be good. So if you want to check that out or you want to be updated, either come back to this channel in September or subscribe so you get notified, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.